Attention. Go.
Away they go in the final of the doubles. Gare and Dafydd on the Berkshire station, and Cunningham and Fuller, you can see from the USA, on the Buck station. They're keeping a tight eye on what goes on down there, as we have been all week. It's just got very overcast down at the finish line, but it still looks bright up at Temple Island. And a quick word about the conditions today, Mark. You've just been on a stroll down the towpath, so you've got better knowledge than we have.
Yeah, it looks quite nice out there. It's still quite calm. There's not a lot of traffic on the water, so the energy in the water, it's not too bouncy, which the crews will like, because it makes it much more comfortable, as comfortable as it can be when you're racing on the river. There's a little bit of wind, like in patches, you can see it on the water, but with some of the weather we've had this week, I'm sure this will be a walk in the park compared to what they've raced with the wind and rain earlier on.
So Gare and Dafydd, you can see on the Berkshire station, have taken an early lead. J.Gare and Dafydd, the Welshman in the stroke seat, will be very pleased that they've got a length and a bit lead on Cunningham and Fuller in the early stages. Double Sculls Challenge Cup. Gare and Dafydd from Leander with a lead. Cunningham and Fuller of the USA will be pacing their race, and will just stay patient because lots can happen in these doubles races. Yeah, definitely. You know, we talk about the change of speed in the small boat. There wasn't much in between these crews. If you look at their kind of performances yesterday, each of the kind of barrier and the kind of 40 markers, obviously the Leander crew is definitely taking the early advantage, but I still think this is not one that's just going to disappear. You know, with what we've seen so far, you know, it should be pretty tight. Yesterday, the Americans that you can see there to the left of your picture, they beat Mason and Van Berman of the Netherlands. That was off the Buck station as well, so they have had a dress rehearsal for this final in that sense. Although yesterday, I think the rain was teeming down during their semi-final. They won by 3/4 of a length, having been behind, and that's the key here, Mark. As I say, it was a potential dress rehearsal. They came from behind to beat the Dutch yesterday. I just wonder if they could repeat the trick today against Gare and Dafydd. Well, they know they've got that change of pace and change of gear in that kind of, you know, last couple of 100 meters, which, you know, is paramount when you come to the finals, because you expect them to be close and not much in it, and having that in your kind of toolkit that you can kind of, you know, use that, press the NOS button if you want to call it that, to really kind of inject some speed in. And for them, it'll probably be just staying in contention. The Leander crew, you know, their race plan is going to be get in front, trying to break contact, you know, those kind of mind games and, you know, what they've set out to do. But these crews have never raced each other, so it's kind of, you don't really know your enemy or your opponent until you're in the heat of battle. Not raced each other before. They could be racing each other quite a bit in the future, because you look at their profiles, their ages. Cunningham and Fuller, third in the Olympic trials, USA Olympic squad. They're in and around it, but not quite there. And Gare and Dafydd are definitely penciled in for LA in 2028, and both part of the Project LA squad. It's been an incredible few weeks. Dafydd, the Welshman, as I mentioned, 23 years old, in the stroke seat that you can see at the bottom of the picture there. He made his senior GB debut at the World Cup in Poznan a few weeks back, and now he finds himself in a Henley final. And it's all happening quite fast for him in 3 or 4 weeks period. Yeah, and you're trying to build that experience. You know, this is the perfect time to do that. There's no real pressure on this season because it is Olympic season, like a year, and the top internationals are away, so it's a great time to kind of breathe the future. Here comes the American move, I'd suggest. We may well see that shift on, as we saw yesterday. Cunningham and Fuller there at the top of the picture. This is a good stage to be patiently moving through. If they have got the skill and the physicality to do that, then I'm expecting that in the next couple of minutes, because they are right in contention here. This is boiling up to be a terrific race. Yeah, and that's what we were kind of expecting with what we'd seen from both crews as the week's gone on. And it's always about just staying in touch, just staying in touch. You don't have to do any fireworks early on. As long as you're in contact, you can sense the crew there, and then you can grow in confidence as you can sense their frustration, maybe of not moving away. You're kind of latched onto their kind of stern. Another reply from Gare and Dafydd there. Proper race they're in here. This will be such a fantastic experience for them. And at this stage, they've got a Henley title in the offing. Last year, the Spanish were winning that. Viola and Romero winning the doubles last year. We had the Irish winning back in 2021. Collins and Thomas, do you remember them? 2019 GB rowers.
Some good names on that trophy. Yeah, some good names on that trophy.
Yeah, well, I did wonder whether we needed to go that far back, actually.
Yeah, it was funny because the other year we were in the where the trophies are, the trophy kind of area in the stewards enclosure, and my daughter was looking at the trophies for my name or our surname. It was quite cute actually, and then she found it and went absolutely crazy. So
Mark,
yeah.
What year, Mark?
It was 2005. Me and
it was further back than I was expecting.
yeah, James Lindsay Finn won the double. You know, it's Leander London.
Well, I wonder what names are going to go next on, and it could be either of these boats because it's very tight as they head into the business end of the race. This is the men's double sculls, and we've got a race on our hands here because Gare and Dafydd have led for the whole race from Temple Island, but the USA throwing everything at it.
And this is probably the most challenging part of the course. You've got the wind, you know, obviously you're fatigued, you're coming into those enclosures, you know, you can sense the finish line coming, you're trying to attack, you're trying to defend. It's whoever can keep a cool head, because there's a lot going on now.
Cunningham and Fuller, can they do what they did yesterday? They made the move earlier yesterday, just after the 40, but today, further on in the race, they're still down. Gare and Dafydd here, got to keep their composure.
But it's always how much did it take out of their legs yesterday. That's the thing, because you have to come and do it again the following day. And that's the challenge at Henley. It's not just about one performance. It's can you keep stepping up each round as you move towards the big race, which is obviously today and Sunday.
Well, these 23-year-olds wearing the Leander colours today, their bodies will be screaming, but they've got the local support, and that could be enough to see them over the line. Cunningham and Fuller have had a brilliant regatta from the USA, but it's all about Gare and Dafydd today. Well done to them. Couple more strokes, and the Americans hammering away, trying to get back in contention. They've probably left it a little bit too late, but Leander hauling themselves over the finish line in front of stewards. Gare and Dafydd, winners of the Double Sculls Challenge Cup, beating Cunningham and Fuller. A really good race, though.
That was a really mature race, you know, for some young athletes that have potential for the future. The way they went out led, you know, avoided or weathered the storm of the Americans coming back at them and then moved away. That was a really classy performance.
Celebrations for J.Gare and Dafydd. What a moment for them, winning at Henley Royal Regatta.